This episode of New Jersey Living is being recorded in Branch Brook Park right now for the moment, but we are back in Newark for our third trip. Our first trip was Ironbound, then we had a Week episode. Now we're going to feature Forrest Hill in this particular episode. Even if you are not someone who has Newark on your radar, not a market that you're looking at, this episode is very much worth a view because we are going to feature what has historically been the premier neighborhood in Newark. And very much there is a lot to see in terms of the renovation, the revitalization, the renewal that's taking place in Forrest Hill as well. So Forrest Hill is neighboring to pretty much where I stand in the park right now. But first, just to talk about the park a little bit, behind me, you see a cherry blossom, right? So, and I'm gonna pan around, you'll see a few more. We're still mid-March, so we're not in the full blossom season quite yet, but we're very near to it. In about 2 weeks from now, beginning of April, there will be a cherry blossom festival here, which is a really significant event for Branch Brook Park, being that this park has the largest concentration or the largest number of cherry blossoms in the United States. Over 5,000 trees here in the park, and there is 18 species of cherry blossoms that are here. So we're right near the sports complex. We're going to take a look at that at our next scene. But there's tennis courts here further north. There's a skating rink further south. There's a dog park here a little further north from where I am right now. And there is like just a few miles of walking, biking trail. There's even a cycling event that will take place here as well. So those who have seen my Bloomfield episode and saw some footage on Brookdale Park, I would say Branch Brook is going to rival and even exceed that in many ways. It's just a really spectacular location. Another distinguishing factor for this park is that it was the first county park in the United States that was open to the public. All right, so there's a lot of age and history that goes here. So we're gonna take a look at a little footage of the sports complex itself because we're right here standing just outside. I wanted to make sure we got a cherry blossom view in, right? Because that is one of the major features of this location. But we're gonna then dive into some of Forrest Hill. So stick along for the journey. It's definitely worth a view. All right, see you at the next stop. Welcome to New Jersey Living. My name is Corey Jones, and I'm a real estate agent here in New Jersey with Prestige Properties, and my job is to bring content like this to viewers like you. So whether you're looking to learn more about New Jersey in general, the neighborhoods, of course, the real estate market, dining scenes, social entertainment scenes, and just iconic locations, this is a channel that you want to hit subscribe, like, and the notification bell. All right, so we are well over 1,000 subscribers and counting. Thank you for the Jersey Hunters who have been traveling this journey with me, and we are welcoming more to the family. So feel free, as many of you have been doing, drop in some comments. I will get back to your comments, whatever they may be. If it's just a word of kindness or a question or a suggestion, I will get back to it. Sometimes I get busy too because I do carry a good volume here of business of my own, but I will get back to it. So we are back in Newark, New Jersey again, and I know many people had asked about this particular location and just in general, not specific where I am right now in Branch Brook Park. But we are here basically to explore another area in Newark. So behind me right now, as I was filming just in the previous scene, we started out, we are in the sports complex, the Autobottle Sports Complex broadly. This field behind me is the Andre Tippett field. And for those who are fans of pro football and maybe probably our age, maybe about my age, if you're 40 or over, you probably recognize that name because that was one of the standout New England Patriots from the 80s. Perennial All-Pro, now Hall of Famer. Andre Tippett's roots were right here in Newark. Barringer High School, which is probably no more than a mile and a half maybe from where we are right now, is where he attended school. Went on to again, play football and with the New England Patriots before their, more notable run in the 2000s up until now. But back in the 80s, they did have a run at the Super Bowl as well. And Andre Tippett was a big part of that. So this field is named in his honor. And this is, again, one of those, one of many locations that draws a lot of basically activities, dynamics to this park that are very unique for this park. So what we are going to dive in today, as I mentioned a little earlier, is going to be Forrest Hill. And this is an area that, if you don't know Newark, is definitely worth just taking a note here. I've had some clients recently just looked at a home in this neighborhood, and it was just spectacular. The history, the architecture, there's features in homes that you find in this neighborhood that will not be constructed today by and large. All right, just the cost of materials will be too great. And honestly, you're not going to find readily the craftsmanship with just any given contractor to do a lot of the work. Just thinking about the molding alone right now in some of these places. The woodwork, it's just phenomenal. So we're going to take a look at 3 properties today that have sold recently. And again, for those who may be just viewing now, I choose to feature sold homes specifically because I want everyone to walk away with an understanding of what each market presents, at least at this day and time. All right, so we're going to dive into that and have some road footage along the way. And as we have wildlife making their arrival here, we're going to make our way back down the path, jump into the neighborhood, start with some footage in that location. So I'll see you there.
I'll be remiss not to include the big 3. So again, for you all who are new, this is a dynamic that may be a little different from some other videos that you watch, but those who have been watching know I always cover what I call the big 3. Those are the 3 items that drive demand in any community in New Jersey when we're talking about North Jersey. So those are 1, proximity to New York City. Secondly, train station. And 3rd are going to be school ratings. So here we're talking about Newark. We're in Forrest Hill, very much similar to Weequahic. I target the local high school, which is Barringer. It's a C-. I reserve A plus or A- for a check mark for schools. However, similar to what I presented in the Weequahic episode, there are very high performing selective public schools in Newark, specifically the high schools, right? When we're talking about science, for example, is one of those. There's also charters that rate very high, as well as private. So some of the parochial schools that rate very high. So there are options outside of just the local public schools, but at the end of the day, I'm basing it all on the overall performance of the public schools. So that would not be a check mark here. For proximity to the city, we're in Newark. We're talking about minutes away, a half hour from getting into Midtown. Check mark there. When it comes to trains, yes, there is Penn Station in Newark. For Forrest Hill, there is a local, basically like a light rail that goes to Penn Station. So that's on, obviously the western side of the park. So it's not running through the neighborhood necessarily. It would be a little bit of a drive to get over to the station. But nonetheless, there are train options in Newark. So when it comes to the big 3, when we're talking about Forrest Hill section, we have 2 out of 3. Not bad at all, but when you take a look at some of the footage that's coming up, both road footage and some of the homes that we're going to preview, you're going to see why there is such a significant appeal to this section of Newark.
Here we are at our first stop, 289 Highland Ave. We are 1 block from the park, so it'll just be a quick, probably 5-minute walk to get to the park, maybe 10 to 15 to get back to where we were at the sports complex. But walking trails, again, run north-south every direction, so it's not as though you would have to go to the section of the sports complex to do any activity. So this is a 3-bed, 3 full bath colonial here, just paying up a little. I know it's up on the hill a bit. listed at $575, sold at $540, and it was on the market a little over a month. Now, what you're going to notice is the tax numbers are very different from what you're normally seeing in a lot of the locations that we've been for this size of home, this price of home, which is going to be common for Newark, right? Very, very tax friendly. So this property had upgrades, interior, really something that was not a fixer-upper or needed any kind of TLC. Well maintained, well upgraded, renovated kitchen. So this type of property in this kind of setting, I'm gonna pan around a little bit so you can see the other colonials that are here. You know, there's a driveway here as well, detached garage in the back, but this is what you get in Forrest Hill on like the moderate level. So this is kind of I would say even entry level for this given neighborhood. So we're going to see an escalation certainly as we get into the next two properties that are going to escalate all the way up into the $1 million range. All right, so I'll see you at the next stop. Second stop, we are at 50 Abington Ave. We're in the heart of the historic area of Forrest Hill, and as I pan up here, we are taking a look at a property built in 1875. I want to say the original owner, Reverend William Hayes Ward. 1875 was a reverend in this area. Not sure if there was any connection to the church across. I should have looked into that history. This is a Third Presbyterian church right across the street right here. But this home certainly has some age to it. You may be able to see some of the exterior that may need a little bit of a touch-up. Interior, well maintained, very, very well maintained, and has that full historic nature about it. Original price was at $749, so basically they priced it at $750, dropped it to $699, which is basically $700. Sold at $585. Was on the market about 2.5 months. So I think the estimation was that because this is a 7-bedroom, 3 full baths and 1 half, and the size of it, you know, the estimation obviously was that the seller would target a higher price point. But given still, I'm sure, some work that needs to be done, it is an older home, so no doubt there's still some upgrades that may be needed or just general maintenance required. It required a drop down to $700, and you know, someone still was able to negotiate down pretty considerably. All right, so this one from a tax standpoint, $13,000 plus. But nature of that is the lot size, corner lot, and I took a quick photo on the side as well so that you could see that there is a detached garage in the back and a driveway. So there is off-street parking that is available for the location. The general neighborhood, I'm going to pan around slowly so you can just get a feel. Everything in this section is going to be your larger colonial style home. So from where we were on Highland Ave, which is literally walking distance around the block. I mean, we're 2 blocks from the park, 1 block over is Highland Ave, but as we get 1 block in this direction, you can start to notice a difference in the size and scale. You see these larger historic colonials in this given section. So this gives you a little taste of that step up where you have some history but need some work, but now we're going to look at really that elite level at our next stop. So enjoy a little bit more of the street footage along the way, and I'll see you there. Final stop. This is the feature of the tour that I referred to. This address is actually 292-300 Delvin Ave, but on the property you'll see 300. Not uncommon here in New Jersey, depending on the town, particularly the cities, you'll see these dashes with addresses. So this is quite a spectacular property just to look at from the exterior aesthetic. We are across from the park directly. I want to give a really good view of this driveway as well. The columns that kind of bookend driveway entrance leading back to a 2-car garage that very well could, given what I can see in terms of the height of it, have a carriage house above, which can be an apartment, could be a studio of some kind. Some people use it for like office space. Some have like a art studio of their own and things of that nature. I've seen it used for a variety of reasons. But this is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home. It was listed at $1.125, sold at $999,999. And the significance of that is, as you've seen some of my previous episodes, is the buyer was able to avoid what we call here in New Jersey the mansion tax, which is an additional 1% tax on top of any property that is purchased at a price point of $1 million or more. So 1% sounds small, but it equates to $10,000 on a $1 million purchase, right? So if you can save that, put that towards closing costs or what have you, it does make a difference. So this property is one of those seeing is believing scenarios. You have to take an opportunity to come to Forrest Hill, come on out to Newark to view one of these open houses, to really see the historic nature of these homes, the detail that goes into crown molding, your shoe molding, baseboard, the wood floors, the general layouts. This has some upgrades as well. I mean, given that price point, you would expect. But to really appreciate the quality of construction as well as the historic nature is one of a kind. This is one of the areas in the state that we've seen. Other areas that do have a lot of historic property as well, such as a Morristown, for example, even Ridgewood, Montclair, South Orange. You'll see a lot of historic there as well. But this, dating back, would have been the premier high-end area of Newark, dating back 150 years. Okay, so this would have been like where your center of population and concentration of business, commerce, socializing, entertainment would have been more in Newark, just outside of New York City, of course, and that gravitated towards the outer suburbs of Newark, which is your Montclair, South Orange, and what have you over time, and even East Orange, if we go back in the time frame that we're talking about. So yes, this is quite a spectacular property right here. By all means, pull it up on Zillow or Compass.com to see if there's some interior photos to view. Pan around, you're going to see a lot more road footage to kind of take in what you're seeing right now in just these few videos. I'm going to pan up one more time just to get that full profile here. And I'll walk down to the front as well, just so you can kind of better appreciate the front entrance and how we have a corner view of the park as well. Not a lot of cherry blossom activity on this side, but you'll be able to see some because they are really grown throughout the park. So again, give me a profile view again. And here we're right along the lake, which we have the park right on the other side. And here is your side corner view. Just spectacular. Elevated off the street, of course. Just a wonderful, wonderful home. So this concludes our third Newark episode. We do have a special feature coming up, so do stay tuned for that. Again, that's why you want to click like, subscribe, and notification bell so you receive these notifications. We have an exclusive on one of the newest building in Harrison that's directly beside the PATH station. So we're going to have a lot of interior footage, a lot of specific room and model footage. It's going to be a rental, but there is condos for purchase coming, which is going to be really unique because there are no buildings right now that are in, when I say close proximity to the PATH, I'm saying like within a half mile or less, right? Just like literally walk out and be right there at the PATH station. There's no condos that close right now, and that feature, that opportunity is coming, and that will be addressed in this feature as well. So we're going to be filming in Harrison. That's going to be just next week, and we, as I've mentioned before, we have more footage coming up and going back to Jersey City, as well as some more spots up in Bergen. Still a lot of ground to cover, so stay tuned, and we are going to obviously keep this footage as education-oriented, value-added oriented as we can. Thank you again for joining. Stay tuned with us moving forward. Stay safe.